بسم الله والحمد لله
Did I answer?
والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ثم أما بعد. أصحاب الفضيلة، أساتذة الكرام، أيها الإخوة الأفاضل، أخوات الفضليات, my dear respected brothers and sisters, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we are going to start the open discussion session with Mashayikh right now. We are a little bit late, but inshallah we'll do our best to manage the time as best as possible. Just let me remind everyone about the rules. The question should be, or the comment made within 90 seconds, and then the speakers will have the chance to comment or answer within 3 minutes, inshallah. So please help us to manage the time and give the chance to as many brothers and sisters as possible. So we're going to have, if there is any question, from the right side. So let's start from the right side. Jazakallah khair. تفضل يا شيخ. بارك الله فيك.
Specify the sheikh that he wants to ask. That's good.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. I mean, can he specify who is the person that he wants to ask? So he would pay more attention to the question.
طيب. When you ask your question, if it's possible to specify who is the speaker that you want him to answer your question, or it's going to be for everyone. جزاك الله خير. تفضل شيخ.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في كثير من المساجد.
Many masajid, those who attend the masajid, are a deep blend. 50% are Hanafis, and the remainder are from 3 other madhahib for the most part. So with regards to the Imam, many of our brothers, for example, follow the Hanafi madhab. They're asked to be given fatwa on their madhab, and so the Imam leading them, myself, we say we wish to follow the majority of the madhab. So there's like 3 madhabs on a view, will be with the majority. So is this method for unification acceptable? That's my question.
كما ذكر الدكتور فاضل المنيسي.
As Dr. Manisi mentioned earlier,
حتى يتسنى لهم الإجابة ثم
تعليق على موضوع يسمى انفسهم بعض العامة ان هم سلفيين وكذا والامور اصبح المشكله عندنا مرات يقول كذا.
some people say we are a Salafi and say this is a Salafi masjid as a result of and this person will have it otherwise. I have some brothers that have no background in knowledge or academic focus, and he speaks and answers questions. That I'm in the safe sector otherwise. So how do we put an end to this?
شيخ معين للإجابة أم شيخنا الفاضل مين؟ دكتور صلاح.
I wish to say a prelude for Sheikh Salah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah bless your steps and your presence. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the grantor of mercy.
لقد أشرت من قبل أحبتي أن التمذهب ليس
I had
مرفوضا وليس مرفوضا.
alluded previously that having a madhab is not rejected nor
التمذهب
accepted, meaning in the absolute sense.
والتعصب
It
والمقصود
can be
بالتعصب
accepted so long as there is no blind cultish partisanship,
المعارضة له
and it's not
بقول أحد الناس كائنا من كان. في هذه الحالة
rejected so long as it doesn't oppose a clear ijma agreement of of the scholars
قاعدة فقهية
and clear
ظاهرة
text in the Quran and Sunnah.
أكثر من وجودها في كثير من بلاد المسلمين. المذهب
There are
هو
many,
كما قلنا يعني من قدم من الشمائل
us
فإنه
here, we have
مذهب
more of a
طبق
mix and a blend that we have to manage, greater
الإسلام
diversity between the
والمدينة
madhahib,
المنقدمة منه
as opposed to some countries where every
والمدينة
locality has a clear majority
المنقدمة
regarding the
بالإسلام
madhab that they follow and understanding Islamic
في
law.
النهاية
A person comes
هذه
from the
المسائل
subcontinent
المسائل
with a certain madhab, those come from North Africa or Masjid. And so when we get together in one masjid, what do? Do we just raise our swords against each other? Or is there a
وخالفوا
mechanism to
واستطاعوا أن
uh,
يبحروا
interface these madhab with each other?
الأمواج. القاعدة يعني
The
أولا
principle,
لا
the
إنكار
rule
في
of thumb, if you
المسألة
will,
كلها
you do not denounce or condemn people or views that are open to ijtihad, to
والظاهر
scholarly
أن
discretion.
القولين عمل به
Whomever believes the certain position is stronger, they act upon it without denouncing the other view.
أن
The second
الإمام
principle, that
يطاع
the imam is to be obeyed
إذا صلى
in
الظهر
matters of ijtihad. If an
للحنفية
imam
أو
is Hanafi
الحنبلي أو
or
المالكي
Hanbali
أو
or
الشافعي
Maliki or Shafi'i,
فأمضى
he's leading the prayer
باجتهاده الفقهي
and he
المجتهد
applies his ijtihadat, his conclusions based on his research, to the way he's going to be praying, we follow. So we have to follow him. Follow him in practice. We don't have to follow him in our beliefs.
فأنا قد
Meaning we don't have to believe that his view is the
أعتبر
strongest
على
view,
مذهبي
but we have to believe that we must follow this imam and not diverge from him while in the same prayer as him,
لأن
while
طبيعة
he is the
الناس
imam of that
تقول
particular prayer. The imam is made to be followed, obeyed.
تقول أن الناس جمهورهم في هذا المسجد مالكية أو
But
جمهورهم في
the
بلاد
majority
أخرى
of is Maliki or
مالكية
Shafi or Hanabila,
فاختيار مذهب يتقلدونه
there that would be fine to pick a particular madhab for that
ويعتني بها النفوس
masjid. That's fine as well, so long as it's
لأنها
agreed
أدلة
upon.
مشروعة وبدائل مشروعة والعبرة في هذا كله بما تأتلف به
So
الكلمة
long as
وتتميز
we
به النفوس
put together a
والأمر
form of
بالجماعة
uh,
ونهي عن الفرقة والتفرق
mechanism, agreement, constitution
والفتوى
that can help us navigate our
العلماء.
different perspectives that we come with from our scholarly heritages that we follow
جزاك الله
in
خير.
the lands that we migrated from.
Next question, this side, please.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السادة العلماء جزاكم الله عنا كل خير وبارك الله فيكم وبارك في جهودكم.
Allah
سؤالي
bless you and raise your
للدكتور
rank.
المنيسي.
My question is for Dr. Eid
يجوز
Manisi.
الترجيح بين
With regards to
الأدلة
choosing a stronger view between madhab and secondary issues, what some people call
إذا
the
قلنا
stronger view.
الاجتهاد المستقل
If we say independent ijtihad,
القرآن والسنة
where
قد
you're
اتفق
directly
على
extracting from the Quran and Sunnah, is gone in
الإجتهاد
non-new events, like just in Salah and Zakat, things like this.
فكيف يكون الترجيح
And so
فيما
how
يخالف
can
والخلاف
there be
دائر
any weight to looking for a
وسواء
stronger
كان
opinion
مذهب الاجتهاد
for a person that doesn't know the fundamentals upon which that opinion was built?
بأصوله وقواعده جزاكم الله عنا خير.
بارك الله فيكم. جزاك الله خير.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. يعني هو جواب هذه المسألة هو
The answer to this
يعتبر
question
هو أمر
is
نسبي
that
وهو
choosing the stronger view is a relative matter. It's not an absolute evaluation that
جميع
everyone would
العلماء
see the same
في
way in the entire
مسائل
ummah.
الاجتهاد ومسائل الفروع الفقهية نستطيع أن
Matter
نقول
the
أنه
practical
واجب
issue, the issues
على
of practice. But we can't
المسلمين
say the stronger view
الله عز وجل
to the whole ummah. No, the whole ummah does not see that view as clearly the right view.
الترجيح بالنسبة
It is relative.
لمن عنده آلية الترجيح. ذكرنا شروط الاجتهاد، فالذي عنده يعني هذه الشروط أو الحد الأدنى منها الذي يؤهله أنه ينظر الفقهاء
And those that have
ضمن
the tools to perform ijtihad, but discerning between the school views of the scholars, which is a lesser level of ijtihad, but still ijtihad, then that person who's able to compare should act upon what he believes is stronger.
فيكون هذا الراجح عند فلان
That would be the
مثلا
stronger view to them.
مسألة
So, for
مثلا
example, a contemporary
الجهر
faqih
ببسملة في الصلاة
uh,
مسألة
researches the issue of saying Bismillah out loud in Salah,
الفاتحة وعدم
or
ردودها في الصلاة
Al-Fatiha being rukn or something,
اطلعت على حجج الأحناف وعندك قدرة يعني عندك الحد
meaning in a loud verse.
لفهم حجج الأحناف في عدم ركنية الفاتحة في الصلاة
And so, a person, if they have the ability to understand exactly the argument being made, how the evidence is being used by both sides, then that person can compare in that one issue, in that one ruling. That would be ijtihad of comparisons.
الراجح
So, like assisted ijtihad,
اجتهاد
not the ijtihad where you independently extrapolate views directly from the Quran and Sunnah, but
جميع الأمور
to be able to discern what is more likely
السنة
or what seems stronger
وكأن
from the different madhahib.
المزيد هذا هو الشيء الممنوع يعني بارك الله
جزاك الله خير شيخ. الأخوات هل هناك من سؤال؟ ما فيه. تفضل أخي.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. My name is Javed. I come from Memphis,
Can,
Tennessee.
can you come closer to the mic, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
My name is Javed. I come from Memphis, Tennessee. This is a general question to any of the show up there. May Allah reward you all. My question is, the U.S. government provides us, the religious communities, with some space to practice their own religion. These rules can be marriage, divorce, transactions, as long as they don't contradict the laws of the state or the federal laws. There are other communities which have taken advantage of this religious space where we can enforce the laws. Such as the Jewish communities, they have their halakha where they have the space to enforce their own domestic laws. The Amish community is an example as well. Do we Muslims have any plans to use this space to enforce our laws, which will be better for the Muslims?
Is this question to a specific speaker or
Anyone?
anyone?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah. I would say, first of all, that the religious freedom that we have in the United States give us the right to practice whatever we want. But as you know, adhering to any religious ruling, it's a personal choice. You cannot enforce that in your own community unless you have the power of government. And that power is not given to you by the government. They give you the space to choose to practice your religion. But they don't give you the power to enforce these rulings over people unless they themselves enter a contract or basically choose this lifestyle, choose these things that they want to practice as part of their religion. But the government will not be involved in basically or give you the power to enforce that, because in the end of the day, the only law that citizens of the United States must obey will be the U.S. law. And that's basically as a country runs. So I'm not sure if what you applies by the Jewish community or the Amish, they can't enforce these laws if the people don't voluntarily choose to be part of it. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing for the Muslim community, and that's something, alhamdulillah, been practiced by the Muslim community. Yes, we would like to see more, more involvement, but that will be if Muslim community are more active in politics, more active with the constitutions makers and the lawmakers, or the not constitutional makers, the lawmakers in the United States. And that requires from us to vote. Since voting is coming soon, I encourage all the imams and all the community leaders to make sure that they mobilize their countries and to make sure that they are active to make the right choice, especially in their local government. And in the same time, politics, as they say, the mother milk of politics is money. You know, we as a Muslim community, we demand a lot of things, but we're not willing to pay. We're not willing to contribute. We're not willing to vote. We're not willing to take the steps that lead to that. So if we became more active in this area, I think more results will be seen. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Any question from the sister side? No question. تفضل أخي.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
عليكم السلام
حيا
ورحمة
الله
الله.
شيوخي الأفاضل وحاضري الأكارم. قدمت بحمد الله خير مقدم فأهلا وسهلا بالعلا والمكارم. إن يوما جمع الله الشمل بكم لنفيس من أنفس العمور. الحمد لله قرت الأعين ونصرحت الأفئدة واطمأنت القلوب.
And our hearts rejoice by gatherings like these. You know, the circle of remembrance, one of the gardens of paradise. We're so blessed and honored and happy to be among you.
أن مادة أصول الفقه أو التشريع الإسلامي هي المعيار الدقيق والميزان الحساس لضبط الفتاوي للمجتهد المفتين. فأنتم إن شاء الله تسعون وتبذلون قصور جهودكم لمحاربة وتنقية الفتاوي الفضوية.
Just ask you to help push back with us against the wrong fatwa, like those that permit riba, interest in transactions.
تشترط في اللجنة الدائمة الساهرة على تكوين
And suggesting that there be a circle that certifies people as being competent and having the aptitude to give fatwa, and an approvals committee of sorts.
الجواب من شيخ بعينه أم
أريد الجواب من أي شيخ الحمد لله.
الله يبارك فيك. تفضل.
He said, I'll accept the answer from any sheikh. I love them all.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بارك الله فيكم يا أخي وجزاكم الله خيرا.
May Allah bless you and reward you well, akhi.
ذكرنا أن الإفتاء تعريفه
Mentioned that fatwa
إخبار بالحكم الشرعي.
is informing the Islamic ruling.
قال ابن القيم رحمه الله
As Ibn
وغيره
Qayyim rahimahullah said,
المفتي هو واسطة ما بين
the
الله
Mufti is the
ولذلك سمى
agent between
كتابه
Allah and between His slaves.
إعلام الموقعين.
That's why he named his book
أي
al-Muwaqqi'in.
العلماء الأعلام الذين يخبرون
Basically,
عن
it
الله
means the
بالحكم
great
ويوقعون
scholars who make
عليه
i'lam, who
كما
inform,
نرسل أي رسالة
and
نوقع
sign.
عليها
Muwaqqi'in, tawqi' means sign, who sign on behalf of the Lord of the worlds.
الذين يوقعون.
The scholars are those who do that.
شروط أساسية هو أولا وقبل كل شيء التخصص، معرفة الأحكام الشرعية، التخرج في العصر الحاضر. كان علماؤنا السابقون قبل 50 سنة قد يوجد بعض العلماء ولا يحمل شهادة ولا ابتدائية ولا ثانوية ولا جامعية.
Being people that graduate.
يختار أحيانا ويكون مدرس في الجامعة.
You know, a long time ago, people, he met Sayyid Aflami. He was, the head of a department in the university, and he had no degree. And so there is a move in the right direction. Sheikh Abu Zahra Mustafa Zarqa. This was a teacher of teachers in our time. and they were not
صار
given these
خلاص
positions.
انتهى هذا العهد هذا الزمن انتهى صار الآن في جامعات
Now
وتخصصات
that age is
وبناء
over, inshallah. Now we have
الشريعة
colleges that
والفقه
have
فالفقيه
specialties and departments for
فالمفتي
Sharia and
يجب
Fiqh,
أن
even in secular
يحمل شهادة
universities.
شريعة أو
Now a
فقه
person can be graduated
أصلا
a
كالطبيب
degree in
بأسرها
Sharia,
حتى
just like
الطبيب بحسب
a medical
الاختصاصات
degree. You have a
طبيب
Sharia degree. This is something
عيون طبيب أنف
that
أذن
has
حنجرة
grown a
طبيب
great deal.
خلقية طبيب
You
جراح
know,
كل واحد نحترم كل
even
الأطباء بس
subspecializations.
بدي عملية جراحية أذهب على الطبيب الجراح بدي أنف وأذن حنجرة بذهب لعند
You
الطبيب
don't just have a doctor. You have an eye doctor and your
في
doctor
ألم
and the likes.
بالعين
Likewise,
أذهب إلى طبيب العينية فعلماء
there's
الشريعة على رأس والعين
eye
والأئمة
doctors,
كلهم
optometrists, and different kinds
إخوة
of
كما
them.
قلت البارحة هم
And in the
ورثة
Sharia, there's the same thing.
الأنبياء ويقومون ولكن بعضهم بالدعوة بعضهم بالتفسير
So the
بعضهم
scholars
بالحديث بعضهم متخصص
are the
بالعقيدة
inheritors of the
بعضهم
prophets, but these
متخصص
scholars
بالفلسفة
are
بعضهم
those experts in
بالترجمة
propagation, those in
كل
explaining the
منهم
Quran.
له دور
Every one of these has a role.
ممتاز قمة
It's an
في
excellent
عمله وقد يكون أحيانا
contributor to the
طبيب
advancement of
ومهندس
Islam, and
يقوم
at times they
بدعوة
contribute in other
ويعمل
ways as
وهي
well.
خمسة أكثر من
Sometimes they
الطبيب
can even
فنحن في الفتوى مشان سؤالك في
even have worldly
الفتوى
expertise as
يجب
well,
أن
be physicians
يكون
by practice in their
متخصصا
careers and
بالشريعة
specialized in Sharia. And
الفقه
so
والشريعة هي الفقه تقريبا
the fatwa
بالمعنى بالفقه
needs to
الإسلامي
come from these types of people, and they have to continue
الخبر الحكم الشرعي من
promoting that,
الكتب
endorsing that,
والقرآن
encouraging that.
والسنة والمذاهب
Someone was able
ليخبره
to
إلى
quote
الناس هذا الشرط
fatwa from their
الأساسي طبعا
sources.
في شروط تكميلية أساسية
There
مبدئية
are
مثل
other
العلو
conditions as
والعقل
well
والعدالة ما
that
يكون
go without
فاسد
saying,
ما
like
يكون
being
من
someone
نياب
trustworthy,
السلطان
not
أو
being someone
حكام
who's fasiq,
السلطان أو العملاء أو من
being someone who's
المخابرات
adult, the
نصف
same.
علماء الأمة الآن في بلادنا العربية مخابرات أجهزة أمن
You know,
فكيف
not be
تستطيع
double
أن
agents.
يأخذوا بفتواهم
Some may say that even half the
ما
scholars
كمان نصف الربع
in our
ومن كبار العلماء
land these days
أحيانا
are
رجال مخابرات أو يتعاونوا
informants
مع
or work for
فها
national security.
من حسن السيرة والسلوك المعاصر بالإضافة معرفة الواقع فلا شك
And one of the conditions is understanding the waqa.
يفهمون اللغة
And
الإنجليزية
so people that here in America understand the English language and know their customs and
أولى بنا
traditions.
نقدمهم عن الفتوى
And they have more right than us to give the fatwa,
لأنه قد
to understand the waqa,
أنا
the
مثلا
reality.
كنت في الشارقة يا أخي في الإمارات سئلت مرة عن سؤال ما يسمى الزواج العرفي جاوبت حسب ما أعرف في سوريا ومصر قال لا نحن الزواج العرفي
I was in Emirat, they asked me about Urfi marriage, which is basically undocumented marriages. I answered based on what I thought Urfi was, because we have Urfi in Syria and Egypt. And turns out that in Emirat, they say Urfi marriage, different kinds of. So the customary usage of the word Urfi to begin with was referring to a completely different, I guess, marital framework or type of marriage.
كما تفضل الدكتور قبل قليل ومبارح تحدثوا في موضوع تعدد الزوجات انه يعني اجي انا من سوريا ومن بلاد عربيه شيء منطقي لا يمكن يخطر ببالنا نقول انه تعدد الزوجات.
You know, the issue of polygyny. You know, I came from Syria, and someone asked me about polygyny. I cannot imagine that someone would say we cannot have multiple wives. This is something I've never heard of, something I've never experienced. But that's a gap in my awareness of the waqa here, this example that the scholars give.
أنت خالفت العهد والقرآن يقول أوفوا بالعقود.
And you know, Allah, the Quran itself says, fulfill your contracts. You came to this country with a contract. And the Prophet ﷺ said that, fulfill your contract. Go to Pakistan and marry 3 and 4. Go to another country.
بس انت وافقت وقعت على الجنسيه ما بعرف الجنسيه ما معي جنسيه بس بالدخول بالشروط انك ملتزم مع القوانين الامريكيه نظام السير يا اخي تمشي حسب نظام باكستان وبريطانيا
You agree to follow the traffic laws here. You can't follow the traffic laws of anything else. And you follow these laws.
يجزيك خير.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. لقطة جميلة يرويها الحاكم في المستدرك بإسناد حسن عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه أنه قال لأصحابه يوما تمنوا، فقالوا نتمنى لو أن هذه الدار مملوءة ذهب فننفقه في سبيل الله ونتصدق. قال لهم تمنوا كمان. فقال آخر إني أتمنى لو كانت هذه الدار مملوءة زبرجدا وجوهرا وأنفقه في سبيل الله فأتصدق. قال لهم كمان تمنوا. قال والله ما ندري، جبنا آخرنا غرفة مليانة ذهب وفضة ننفقه في سبيل الله عز وجل. فقال له فما تتمنى أنت يا أمير المؤمنين؟ فقال أتمنى لو أنها مملوءة رجالا مثل أبي عبيدة وسالم وحذيفة ابن اليمان. يتمنى رجالا، يتمنى الرواحل. الناس كإبل 100 لا تكاد تجد فيها راحلة، فعمر كان يبحث عن الرواحل، وهذه أمنيته. إن الناس تمنوا لو ملئت دورهم ذهبا وفضة ينفقونها في سبيل الله، لكن عمر تمنى أن تملأ من الرجال الرواحل الذين تبنى على أكتافهم الحضارات والمشروعات والأمال الواعدة للأمة بإذن الله. في هذا المقام كلمة شكر وتقدير لجند مجهول معلوم تعلمونه جميعا، لكن لا تدركون مدى الجهد الذي يبذله والعطاء الذي يقدمه. الله وحده هو الذي يعلمه، والله وحده هو الذي يقدر على أن يكافئه. وإنني والله الذي لا إله غيره إنني أقولها من أعماقي، وهذه شهادتي لله عز وجل ثم شهادتي لكم أن هذا الأخ الذي نكرمه في هذه اللقطة وما كان متوقعا لهذا، وأظنه سوف يفاجأ عندما يذكر اسمه، إنه الأخ صادق الحسن.
تكبير. الله أكبر.
أي وربي،
الله أكبر.
أي وربي، إن هذا الجهد الذي ترونه كله هذه أيام كلها له. هذه أيام كلها له، في كل محور تراه، في كل موقع تراه، في كل جانب لا تخطئه عينك أبدا. فأسأل الله جل وعلا بأسمائه الحسنى وصفاته العلى ورحمته التي وسعت كل شيء أن يبارك له في صحته، في عافيته، في أهله، في ماله، في ولده، أن يعقبه ما بذل في خدمة المجمع، خدمة المشايخ وطلبة العلم، عافية في بدنه وسعة في رزقه وصلاحا في ذريته وسكينة في نفسه وطمأنينة في قلبه وحسنا في خاتمته. اللهم أمين. وباسمكم جميعا نقدم له هدية رمزية جدا، لا تعني أكثر من التعبير الرمزي عن الشكر، أما قيمته فهي أكبر من هذا بكثير. وبعدين إنني أقول له لو كان يهدى إلى الإنسان قيمته لكان قيمتك الدنيا وما فيها.
Let's resume the questions. So which was the last one that we took? I think from the left side. So yeah, the next one from the right side. Sheikh Amr, Jazakallah khair. Do you mind if we go to the left side, meanwhile? Yeah, the next one from this side, Jazakallah khair. We'll come back to you, Sheikh Amr.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أخوكم محمد الدرة أعمل مع مؤسسة الرياض النقية.
Muhammad Durra from your hands, first of all. I apologize for the video that was presented yesterday. It was a bit difficult that we affect people in ways in a way that we didn't
طلب
know.
يا إخواني أن تسامحونا على أننا عرضنا إليكم شيئا من المآسي التي
And so just to
تحصل في اليمن
apologize
ولا
for
يعرف
sharing
الناس عنها.
something that people don't know
الأمر
about.
الآخر أستفتي
And
مشايخنا
the second
عن
thing
حادثة حصلت في اليمن،
about it should happen in
هل
Yemen.
تناسب الفتوى يعني حالة خاصة مثل هذه كما
A
حصل في
fatwa
عام
can be given about
الرمادة
it.
أن أختا من أخواتكم
One of your
تذهب
sisters,
لتبيع
she went to go
كليتها
sell her
في مستشفى من المستشفيات
kidney
لكي أن تبقي على حياة أيتامها.
to spend
جزاكم
on
الله
her orphans.
بارك الله فيك شيخ محمد، فتح الله عليك. أي تعليق من المشايخ أو ننتقل إلى الميكروفون ما يشتغل؟ نعم؟ تفضلوا مشايخ. أيوة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طبعا نستهل التعليق بأن نرفع أكف الضراعة إلى الله جل وعلا أن يرفع غضبه عنا،
to remove
أن يلطف بأراملنا
his anger and his punishment from us, and to have mercy on our elderly and our women and our children,
يلطف بالمستضعفين من أمة نبيه في المشارق
and to
والمغارب. اللهم عليك
extend
بأعدائك
his
وأعدائهم
kind
فإنهم
of
لا
care.
يعجزونك.
And I ask Allah to destroy the enemies of the innocent.
إنما يذكره أخونا عن هذه
What
المنطقة من العالم
our brother mentions of this
له
part of the
مظاهر
world
في مناطق أخرى
has
مجاورة.
parallels in different parts of the world.
أشباه عوادينا نأسى لواديك أم نشجى لوادينا.
A person doesn't know who to be devastated for anymore.
مآسي الأمة متعددة.
Because the crises of the Ummah are so many, and they're similar, and we ask Allah to remove his punishment and his anger that has befallen us. We ask Allah to not call us to account of the foolish have said. We ask Allah to not call us to account to what the foolish have done. We ask Allah to grant this Ummah a state where the righteous are uplifted and the misguided are guided.
الجواب عن السؤال واضح، نحن لسنا أمام حكم الأحوال العادية.
The question, the Ummah is unanimously agreed in the East and West that the human body has a sanctity, cannot be used for buying and selling. But there's no doubt this is a peculiar situation. Of course, necessities have their own set of rulings. If a person is in such a pressing, dire, urgent emergency, Allah permitted carrion, blood, and swine, and pig flesh for cases of dire necessity. And so, first of all, the Ummah is sinful for leaving a woman to sell a part of her body to feed her children. Those who spend their wealth left and right in disobedience of Allah Azza wa Jalla, while people in our Ummah exist like this, or buying things that they don't really need, while others have to sell part of their body. And there are things that people sell their children. The apples of their eyes, to sell them so that they can save the others. And so, in ordinary circumstances, the sanctity of the human body would not make it permissible a person can gift one of his body parts to save someone's life, if that's not going to cost them their own life, like gifting, donating a kidney. But as a commercialization or selling, this would not be allowed in ordinary circumstances. But again, in cases of urgency, this is where concessions are made in the Sharia of Allah. So we ask Allah it's time to remove his punishment. Saying from the Ummah.
Mercy for Mankind Global Dawah. سؤالي لأستاذنا الفاضل الشيخ الجليل الشيخ صلاح، وهو سؤال سياسي. يعني أنا أمس سألت سؤال نفس
Yes,
هذا
there's
في
a
مجال آخر.
political question.
طبعا العلماء والفقهاء هنا
The scholars and the
بالنسبة للوضع
jurists
السياسي في أمريكا تحدثوا
regarding
في
the
طريق
political
محكم
condition,
يعني جواز الانتخاب أو عدم
permissibility
الانتخاب، وعرفنا أن الموضوع
of
في
elections
النهاية
and
تخفض
political
الضررين وينتهي من
rotation
هذا الأمر.
and
الآن
the
في
lesser of two evils, and that was
طريقة
it.
أو أمر جديد
Now there's
الحمد لله
something
بدأ
new
ينتشر في أمريكا، هو
starting to spread in
دخول
America,
المسلمين
that
نفسهم
the Muslims themselves
سباقات الانتخابات في أمريكا على
in
المجر
candidacy races,
governor,
being
senators,
governors and senators,
congressmen, council.
congressmen and the likes.
الحمد لله دخلنا في مجالات كثيرة جدا كمرشحين مسلمين. الآن السؤال المهم،
The question
أنت
is,
كمرشح مسلم،
as a Muslim
معظم
candidate,
الناس اللي
you
بينتخبوك
find
أو
some of
عندهم
those who
تعاطف
pick
معاك
you,
هم
who
الناس
vote you in,
الليبراليين.
those
وهذا
that
السؤال
are
اللي أنا وجهته
liberals.
أمس
This
يعني
was the question
كان
that I posed
في
yesterday
مجال
from a
آخر
different
مش
angle
نفس
with
السؤال.
regards to
بس
allyship.
عادة التعاطف
But
بيحصل أكثر مع الفئة الليبرالية،
there's
ومنها
just more
ناس مثلا بيشجعوا الزواج
empathy or common ground
الليغي
that
أو
comes from the
الشواذ،
liberal
منها
direction,
ناس
or
بيقدموا
that's how people perceive it at least.
الماريجوانا، منها ناس يعني طبعا أشياء كلنا عارفها. لكن
And these are things
السؤال
that we all
الآن،
know.
أنت كمرشح
And
مسلم لو
you as a
دخلت
Muslim candidate,
بأجندة
if you
خالصة
enter with a
إسلامية
pure agenda,
غالبا هتخسر أنت بسبب
you'll
الجماعات ديت
lose. You
مش هتنتخبك
lose
أصلا.
the support from both
فالآن
sides.
يعني كيف نوازن
How do we
بين
balance
طبعا
between
مصلحة انتخاب مسلم، والحمد لله أنا
the
بتكلم عن
benefit
تجربة
of putting
شخصية.
Muslims in
أنا
office,
يعني أخدم في السيتي كونسل بتاع المدينة بتاعتنا، وهذا الميزانية over $200 million يعني.
I serve city council.
قرارات
You know,
الحمد لله تعالى
our
بتأثر. يعني
budget is
أنت
$200 million, so
صانع
this is a
قرار
person of great
لما
influence.
بتدخل في هذه الإدارات فعلا بتأثر عليهم،
And you
وبيعملوا خير
certainly
كتير جدا
do have an
بين
effect
وبين
on them,
المسلمين،
and
واجتماع
you
كتير
can
ومؤتمرات إلى آخره.
effect so
كيف
much good that
الشيخ
benefit
صلاح
Muslims and
يوازن
non-Muslims.
بين
But how
هذه
do
الأمور؟
we
أنت
balance between
إذا
these
دخلت
things?
بأجندة
If you
إسلامية
enter with an
خالصة
Islamic agenda,
فلن ينتخبك أحد، ولو
no one will
دخلت
pick
مثلا
you.
بأجندة
If you
إسلامية
enter with
وبعض
Islamic
الأشياء يعني
agenda,
غيرت فيها شوية أو وريت، أو حتى يعني على سبيل المثال مرشح ميشيغان يقول
the
مثلا
governor of
أنا
Michigan, for
أقنن
example,
الماريجوانا. هذا على سبيل المثال فقط حتى أعطيك
just to
فكرة.
give an
بارك الله فيكم.
example,
جزاك الله
he
خير.
said, I'll legalize marijuana.
This was the last question, as we have to end by the time. So, أي أحد من المشايخ الشيخ صلاح الله يفتح عليك.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. تعلمون أن العمل السياسي، المشاركة السياسية،
You know, political participation
مسائل السياسة
is of
الشرعية
the issues of
التي
siyasa
تدور
sharia,
في فلك الموازنة بين
is of the
المصالح
administrative
والمفاسد،
issues or the
والتي
if only the realm of
تختلف
Islamic politics, if you
باختلاف
will.
الزمان والمكان والأحوال والظروف. وقد كانت المشاركة السياسية موضع
And this was
معارك
a subject of great debate in the 70s and the 80s. Is this an approval of authorities other than our deen? But when fiqh assemblies, you know, came together and started having collective ijtihad performed after having wider discussions. Even AMJA here, and the Organization's Islamic Conference, that is an extension of the Muslim World League, they permitted participation with conditions that are there in the declaration they can go back to, and AMJA secondarily also adopted this view, and the discussion pretty much settled at that point. But determining in each case scenario on whether there's a greater benefit or a greater harm, that's a different story. It has to be judged on a case-by-case basis. Of course, it goes without saying, we're not saying our agenda is Islamic per se. It's not going to be like applying the Islamic Sharia or something. That's not going to be your agenda in politics. But the common ground, the public interests, public welfare, these which are congruent with Islam or encouraged by Islam will be your agenda. Serving different racial groups, different communities, different minority populations. So that we say our agenda has to be within those realms. May Allah bless him and grant him a cure. He says he used to say that for political work to work here, the Muslims have to agree on a clear political agenda and an entity that can represent them on the political level, speaking on behalf of them all in one voice, so that our votes are concentrated in a place that would be fulfilled. And so again, your agenda is not going to be Islamic. I don't think anyone's thinking about that, but it's going to be in the sphere of public welfare, public interests. And another issue, the base of the Sharia is on optimizing benefit and enhancing them and ending harm and eliminating it. So if you can't remove harm, remove as much of it as you can. If you cannot acquire goodness, acquire of it what you can. And this is an issue. Whoever can't do that, then let them stay out of that realm and isolate themselves from the political arena, worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal to the best of their ability and protect themselves from the fitna. Meaning those that are incapable of discerning the pros and cons, it is better for them to remain in their prayer quarters, in their sphere of influence, learning Islamic sciences and getting close to Allah Azza wa Jal and asking Allah to have them and their lives in good state. But those who work in the public sphere, you're going to have to endure and overlook certain interests and certain wrongs. As for idealism, that's a mentality that whomever that will cause you to write your own certificate of failure. There are two types of people that will be saved: a person that isolates himself from the fitan because he does not have and someone who memorized the Quran, the 40 Nawawi and the 60 Nawawi for that matter. But if you enter into public work, you gotta get yourself used to certain losses that you're going to have to tolerate, certain harms you're going to have to consider. What am I getting on the other end of this equation? And no one who does not know how to use that scale should participate, because some people can seek an insignificant gain for a monumental loss for da'wah or for Islam. And so a person that is capable of doing that is to try to do the best he can, and while remembering, of course, infallibility is for the Prophet ﷺ. Again, I just wish to conclude by saying what we said before, that no one should criticize those that have light that is blemished with darkness, unless you have a light, a perfect alternative that has no darkness in it.
Sometimes I feel that they, by default, give into these kind of ideas and things that morally we don't accept. See, by default, he's willing, by default, I'm willing to support, for example, 1, 2, 3 positions. You know what? You still can. There's many other areas you still can contribute, and you can win elections. And I think the last election shows you clearly that you don't need to always to give up to think that you can gain. Sometimes also when you have principles, and you know what? We respect our differences. And I know how difficult this is. I'm not talking from being theoretical. But also what I want to tell you, that it is not correct for the Muslim community to look like advocates for these agendas of the liberal, of the leftist, the social leftist in America. It's a shame that Muslim organizations will play the role of activists and people who promote these agendas. Not anymore that I'm talking about a situation that is shameful. I think we have to have a stand. And that's what we believe in. Yes, I might not pick this as a fight with you if I'm in your party. but I'm not expected to be an advocate for it. There's a big difference between the two positions and stands. Thank you.
بارك الله فيك. Yeah, الشيخ عمرو معذرة يعني we need to end this session. جزا الله خير كل المشايخ وبارك الله فيكم، ونعتذر للمشايخ الذين لم تتح لهم الفرصة. بارك الله فيكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.
We apologize to those who didn't get a chance to answer, and we just have to end on time, keep to our schedule. Jazakallah khair, everybody. I'll see you after lunch. Assalamu alaikum. Many masajid, those who attend the masajid, are a deep blend. 50% are Hanafis, and the remainder are from three other madhahib for the most part. So with regards to the Imam, many of our brothers, for example, follow the Hanafi madhab. They're asked to be given fatwa on their madhab. And so the Imam leading them, myself, we say, we wish to follow the majority of the madhab. So there's like three madhabs on a view, we'll be with the majority. So is this method for unification acceptable? That's my question. As Dr. Manisi mentioned earlier. Some people say we are a Salafi and say this is a Salafi masjid as a result of and this person will have it otherwise. I have some brothers that have no background in knowledge or academic focus, and he speaks and answers questions. That I'm in the safe sector otherwise. So how do we put an end to this? I should say a prelude for Sheikh Salah. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi. Allah bless your steps and your presence. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the grantor of mercy. I had alluded previously that having a madhab is not rejected nor accepted, meaning in the absolute sense. It can be accepted so long as there is no blind cultish partisanship, and it's not rejected so long as it doesn't oppose a clear ijma agreement of the scholars and clear text in the Quran and Sunnah. There are many, us here, we have more of a mix and a blend that we have to manage, greater diversity between the madhahib, as opposed to some countries where every locality has a clear majority regarding the madhab that they follow and understanding Islamic law. A person comes from the subcontinent with a certain madhab, those come from North Africa. And so when we get together in one masjid, what do? Do we just raise our swords against each other? Or is there a mechanism to interface these madhab with each other? The principle, the rule of thumb, if you will, you do not denounce or condemn people or views that are open to ijtihad, to scholarly discretion. Whomever believes the certain position is stronger, they act upon it without denouncing the other view. The second principle, that the imam is to be obeyed in matters of ijtihad. If an imam is Hanafi or Hanbali or Maliki or Shafi'i, he's leading the prayer and he applies his ijtihadat, his conclusions based on his research, to the way he's going to be praying, we follow. So we have to follow him in practice. We don't have to follow him in our beliefs. Meaning we don't have to believe that his view is the strongest view, but we have to believe that we must follow this Imam and not diverge from him while in the same prayer as him, while he is the Imam of that particular prayer. The Imam is made to be followed or obeyed. But the majority of is Maliki or Shafi or Hanabila. There, that would be fine to pick a particular madhab for that masjid. That's fine as well, so long as it's agreed upon. So long as we put together a form of uh, mechanism, agreement, constitution that can help us navigate our different perspectives that we come with from our scholarly heritages that we follow in the lands that we migrated from. Allah bless you and raise your rank. My question is for Dr. Eid Manisi. With regards to choosing a stronger view between madhab and secondary issues, what some people call the stronger view, if we say independent ijtihad, where you're directly extracting from the Quran and Sunnah is gone in non-new events, like just in Salah and Zakat, things like this. And so how can there be any weight to looking for a stronger opinion for a person that doesn't know the fundamentals upon which that opinion was built? The answer to this question is that choosing the stronger view is a relative matter. It's not an absolute evaluation that everyone would see the same way in the entire ummah. Matter the practical issues of practice. But we can't say the stronger view to the whole ummah. No, the whole ummah does not see that view as clearly the right view. It is relative. And those that have the tools to perform ijtihad, but discerning between the views of the scholars, which is a lesser level of ijtihad, but still ijtihad, then that person who's able to compare should act upon what he believes is stronger. That would be the stronger view to them. So, for example, a contemporary faqih researches the issue of saying Bismillah out loud in Salah, or Al-Fatiha being rukn or something, meaning in a loud verse. And so a person, if they have the ability to understand exactly the argument being made, how the evidence is being used by both sides, then that person can compare in that one issue, in that one ruling. That would be ijtihad of comparisons. So like assisted ijtihad, not the ijtihad where you independently extrapolate views directly from the Quran and Sunnah, but to be able to discern what is more likely or what seems stronger from the different madhahib.
My name is Java. This is a general question for any of the students. May Allah reward you all. My question is, the U.S. government provides the religious communities with some space to practice their own religion. These rules can be married, converse, transactions, as long as they don't contradict the laws of the state or the federal laws. There are other communities which have taken advantage of this religious space where we can enforce those laws. Such as the Jewish community, they have the halakha where they have the space to enforce their own domestic laws. The Amish community is an example as well. Do we Muslims have any plans to use this space to enforce our laws, which would be better for the Muslims? These questions to a specific speaker or anyone?
I would say, first of all, that the religious freedom that we have in the United States give us the right to practice whatever we want. But as you know, adhering to any religious rule is a personal choice. You cannot enforce that in your own community unless you have the power of government. And that power is not given to you by the government. It gives you the space to choose to practice your way. But it doesn't give you the power to enforce these rules over people unless they themselves enter a contract and basically choose this lifestyle, choose these things that you want to practice as part of the religion. And that the government will not be involved in basically will give you the power to enforce that, because at the end of the day, the only law that citizens of the United States must obey will be the U.S. law. That's basically the country runs. So I'm not sure if what you applies by Jewish communities or the Amish. You can't enforce these laws because people don't voluntarily choose to be part of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing for the Muslim community. And that's something that have been practiced by the Muslim community. Yes, we would like to see more, more involvement, but that will be if Muslim community are more active in politics, more active with the constitutions makers and the lawmakers, or not constitutional makers, but lawmakers in the United States. And that requires from us to vote, since voting is coming soon, and encourage all the imams and all the community leaders to make sure that they mobilize their countries and to make sure that they are active, make the right choice, especially in the local government. And at the same time, politics, as you said, the mother milk of politics is money. We as a Muslim community, we demand a lot of things, but we're not willing to pay. We're not willing to contribute. We're not willing to vote. We're not willing to take the steps that lead to that. So if we became more active in this area, I think more results will be seen.
Any questions on the system side? No question. Hello.
Excellent.